Good morning and happy crisp fall morning. We love the cooler weather that we're getting here and are taking good advantage of it by doing more work outside and doing things that get us in a mood for fall. And today we are going to follow up on a promise that we made you 2 or 3 weeks ago when we did our video on off-grid baking of Hawaiian rolls, which turned out to be a huge success. That batch of rolls lasted under 24 hours. We just ate them until they were gone. They were very, very good. And so now, today, we are going to do what is called apple cider Hawaiian roll donuts. That is the official name of the recipe that I'm going to give you the link for so you can follow it as well. However, we did our test batch on this, and they don't taste anything like donuts because they're Hawaiian rolls. They're sweet, they're soft, they're fluffy, but they're rolls. And so I've changed the name, and so it is going to be apple cider Hawaiian Rollnuts. Rollnuts, like donuts, only they're Rollnuts. And we almost ditched this recipe because our test batch didn't turn out too great. The rolls were overdone and they just didn't taste very good. So I have made a couple of changes in my approach to this recipe. We're going to try it again today and hopefully it will turn out great. Now you can either use your store-bought Hawaiian rolls, and if you do that, I'm sure that it will turn out perfectly. I make our Hawaiian rolls, and so there's some variability there. But that variability makes it so that I can adjust things that you couldn't if you were buying them from the store. I also want to perfect things so that if we had to go off-grid for a while, long-term, shorter term, whatever, that I would be able to do this off-grid. So I baked a batch last night, and here they are. Now the official recipe calls for 12. My recipe makes 15, so we're going to be making 15. We are going to bake some of them outside in our Dutch oven to follow through on doing things off grid, and we're going to do some of them right here in this oven. So the first thing that we need to do is turn them out of the pan. Now you may notice that these are far lighter. I underbaked them just a little bit, and we did that because of the results that we had with our trial. And so, because they go back in the oven for 15 minutes once we get the filling inside, and that's what killed off our test batch, was having to go back in the oven, and they got too overdone. So we are supposed to make a 1/2 inch cut into the roll. I'm going to go clear to the other side this time. I only went about halfway, and it turned out that there wasn't enough filling in these. And so I'm going to do this very quickly, and then I'm going to come back and put my finger in there all the way in, and I'm going to mash some of the roll parts to the side so that we have kind of a nice hole there. This is about twice as big as the one that we did in our test batch. So I'm going to bring all of the rolls to this point, and then we'll come back. So this is some apple pie filling that I made back in August of 23, so it is 2 years old. I used part of it for our trial run, and I'm going to use the rest of it for today. I probably won't use the rest of it, but I might. I'm hoping to get more inside those rolls. And so the other thing that we need to do with this is this is Alpine spiced apple cider, and it's in a powder form. You put it in hot water and you have some lovely warm cider, which doesn't that sound like fall? But we are just going to use the powder here. It calls for 1 whole capsule for the filling and then another whole capsule added to cinnamon sugar. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I did before because the taste came through just fine using only half the powder. So I'm just going to put about half the powder in here, and the other half we'll put in here when we get ready for that. So I'm going to mash this around. It just gives the filling such a nice spiced apple cider taste. And then, now that that's all mixed, I'm going to take my pastry blender and go through the filling and mash those apples, or cutting them in smaller pieces so that they will more easily fit inside the holes that I've poked in the side of the rolls. Now, I tried spooning the filling in on our trial run, and it was a little bit tedious. And in my early days with my children at home, I used to do some cake decorating. I was just a novice, but I had fun with my kids and we did a lot of it. And I don't even have any more of that equipment, but I'm using a makeshift pastry bag right here. And I'm going to try this to see if it works better than try to spoon it in. So I'm just going to work that down. And I'm going to cut the tip off of this. And let's see if this is going to work. Oh, like a charm. Check it out. Okay, let's do another one. Comes out lumpy, which is what we wanted, but I'm going to have to help it along a little bit there. Piece of apple. There we go. All right, I'm going to finish doing this and we'll bring you back. I got smart and snipped the tip off just a little bit more, and it worked like a charm. I have this much left, so we'll figure something out to do with that. Now, the next thing is, this is what is going to be going in the Dutch oven. And Jim has the charcoal. Is the charcoal about ready, honey?
It's about ready, yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
One more thing is, I wanted to just let you know that we had a hard time finding this and finally ordered it off of Amazon. If this works, we're going to be adding this to our level 1 food storage. And so just, you can have that link if you need it, if you can't find it at your store. So the next thing that happens is, I'm going to put as many as I can on this tray, but we want a little bit of space around them, and they have to be buttered on all sides. And so what's going to happen in the oven with these is, it's going to toast the rolls. I'll just start here. All right, when I get these done, we'll be back. Okay, the oven just beeped. These are ready to go in. They're all buttered on all sides. And they need to go in for about 12 minutes. These we're going to take outside, and just as soon as the coals are ready, we'll get them in and we'll show you all about that as we do it. So Jim has the Dutch oven all ready. He has 10 on the bottom and 20 on the top, and it is preheating. I have the rolls right here on the sling ready to put in. The first thing I need to do is to remove the lid. The temperature is high enough that we can go ahead and start. So, dropping them in with the sling, replacing the lid. This temperature is a little bit lower than the oven temperature, so however long it takes for these to get just a little bit toasty, and we'll bring you back and show you the whole thing. All right, here we go. I'm lifting the lid, and there are the rolls on the inside. I'm going to, with the sling, Pull them over here. They're a little bit more brown and a little bit hardened off, toasted on the side. And I'm going to pick them up with these hot pads. And let's go inside and finish them off. So here are the ones that came out just a few minutes ago. They're all finished off. And this is how we do it. We brush the tops with butter once again.
You missed the one in the middle.
Oh, I sure did. And then here is the sprinkled topping. I dumped the other half of the apple cider powder in there. And so we're going to give them a really good dose of this topping. Don't these look so much better, Jim, than our...
They look much nicer. They're much lighter.
Yes.
The ones were so much darker.
Okay, so I'm going to take this one from the ones that came out of the oven, and we're going to cut along where we're going to do an autopsy on it to see how it looks on the inside.
You and Ducky. Huh?
Well, it's better than it was last time. There's more in here. It didn't go all the way to the end. Maybe some of them will. But, oh, it's so much softer. The rolls are still very light and fluffy. So here goes a bite. I'm going to get this side so I can get some of the topping. Oh. Night and day. These are fantastic. Yes, this recipe is a keeper. I'm so glad we made some errors on our test run so that we could save you from doing the same thing. The key to these is going to, for us to keep the rolls as light in color as possible and then not let them over bake in the oven and get too brown and too hard. That cinnamon sugar topping with the apple cider sprinkles on it, there's a little bit of a tang. You know, when you taste sweet and sour powder, there's a little bit of that tang when you take a bite of that, and it really is delightful. So I hope that you try these and let us know how they work for you. And let us know whether you made your own or whether you bought the Hawaiian rolls, because I think this would work both ways. We've had lots of requests for more Dutch oven cooking, and we're going to be focusing on that throughout the fall and winter. All kinds of off-grid type cooking to get us ready for these uncertain times that keep getting more uncertain by the day. So thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you so very much, and we will see you very soon for more videos.